Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Once again, I apologize if it's too low. I really do. But let me come back to the karma and the hypocrite piece. I don't think that Kevin was a hypocrite. People want to say he was hypocritical because he had 2 failed marriages. But a lot of times those failures teach you so much, especially, thank you, Joseph, especially if you learned something. Thank you, Wiggy Wheel. So her karma comes every time she look in the mirror. Especially if you learned something from the failure, because failure can sometimes teach you more than a success can. Failure, if you learn from it, if you take from a failure what you supposed to take from a failure, a lot of times it will teach you more than a success will teach you. And at minimum, it'll teach you something different than a success will teach you. This is why a lot of times businessmen will tell you, and there are some businessmen in the chat will tell you, the failure is a success too. You learn from that so that you can have the success. You go into it, it failed, you figure out what happened, and then you fix it, and then you come back and you do it correctly. So if he had 2 marriages that ended in divorce, then he must have learned something about those relationships and himself in those relationships, and then do the work so that he can tell other people how to do that work. It's just like sometimes, okay, you can have 2 different personal trainers to lose weight. We'll take a weight loss journey, okay? Some personal trainers have never been fat. Some personal trainers have never been fat. And they've always been in shape. So the personal trainer that's never been out of shape, that's never been fat, doesn't understand the struggle of a fat person. Why you get fat, why you overeat, why you eat the wrong things, why do you eat unhealthily. They don't understand the mentality and the psychology behind why you do that. Thank you, Eugene Steele. Right? And it's nothing wrong with that personal trainer because they actually understand fitness. That's what they understand, how to be fit. They understand that part. And then there's the personal trainer that was fat. Had to go on a weight loss journey. Figured out health and wellness and fitness. And now when they train somebody and that person is overweight and out of shape, they can give them the fitness, but they understand the psychology of the overweight person. Why you eating like that? Why are you eating all these unhealthy foods? Why don't you like to drink no water? Why are you craving like this and eating like this? They understand the struggle of being fat and then getting healthy. Now, nothing wrong with either of those types of personal trainers. Nothing. But can you say that the personal trainer who was fat before is failed and they can't tell you nothing about health and training? Because, well, you was fat. You was fat just 5 years ago. So how you going to tell me about fitness? Yeah, but I ain't fat now and you are. So I think I know a little something about what to do to lose some weight. You still struggling with it, aren't you? Thank you again, Miss Chantel. You still struggling with it. So I think I can tell you 1 or 2 things about the type of healing you need, not only physically, but mentally, psychologically, the type of healing that you need. Thank you, VBN. Said, get them, bring it out. Many marriages have failed. They just haven't ended yet. For example, Will and Jada. Exactly. The people shout, right. So you can say, oh, well, he had failed relationships. Were all of his relationships a failure? We don't know that. And he was transparent enough to say, yeah, these marriages that I had ended in divorce. There were a lot of problems in the relationships. And I never heard him just say it was all the woman's fault either. He held accountability for his role in the dissolution of those marriages. And all you can do is be transparent. Nobody is perfect. No, there's no perfection. Because people would be able to say, well, Crimson Cure, you're a hypocrite because you talk about masculine women, but we can go back in the archives of YouTube and find you being masculine. That's why I didn't take the videos down. Thank you, the Cisco. That's why I didn't take them down. Because I wanted people to see the evolution. To let women know that the evolution is possible. It's not something that's so out of reach that you can't do it. That's why I can talk about the differences between a masculine woman and a feminine woman, because I've spent time doing both. I can talk about the trauma that you go through growing up a certain way under a hyena, because I grew up under a hyena. I can talk about the pathologies of women because I've had and struggled with some of them pathologies. I can talk about the chaos of women because I'm a woman and I go into chaos sometimes. So I can talk about all of that. That don't make me a hypocrite. A hypocrite is somebody say, well, I've always been perfect, so y'all need to get with the program. No. I ain't never told nobody, well, I'm perfect and all y'all should be like me. No. What I am saying is that we need to strive for excellence through the 10 life value system. That's what I'm saying. But we can go back.
I want to hear what you got to say about this one.
You know what? I will say this. I like Marlon's response a little bit, half of it, because it was very grown up. And it was very in the middle-ish because he wanted to pay homage to him. And at the same time, giving him an excuse and an out to be able to say, well, maybe his truth helped some people. It was a little brash, but hey, that was his way. We do know for sure and certain that social media made him this breakout, social Instagram famous person, you know what I mean? But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help, it got to come in a kind of way, because we're your kind. We are your type, meaning we're black, you know what I mean? And we are family, you know what I mean? So when you talk to us, because we as a race have been through so much, and it's almost like talking to us like this does not help us even listen and hear you. I didn't really follow him.
You know what? I thought, speaking of hypocrites, y'all. Speaking of hypocrites. Now all y'all together. Tell Ice Cube that. Tell Ice Cube that you was all one. Because when Ice Cube said everybody was all one thing, y'all said no. What's in it for black women? Now, when the critique is about black women, now we all is together and we family. We are family. Cause I got all my hyenas in me. Like, okay, now we family. But when Ice Cube came on there And he was like, and y'all was like, well, what's in it for black women? He was like, well, we all black. It's for everybody. No. He was like, well, aren't you black? No. Y'all straight up chorused and said no. Y'all could have been a choir. No. Y'all was like, no. Actually, we not. So who's a hypocrite, Lisa Ray? Let's talk about this little tone thing. You got to talk to us, you know, kind. No, you don't. No, nobody got to talk to you kind. Because I remember when you was on Iyanla's show, you didn't want to hear nothing Iyanla was talking about, and she was talking nice and respectful to you. Boop, 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 boop. I remember you on Iyanla Fix My Life. And Sister Iyanla, Auntie Iyanla, was trying to tell you what was going on and the things that you needed to see and things that you needed to understand about the issues that you came to her about. And you didn't want to hear it. You was mad. And Miss Iyanla don't do nothing but talk straight to you. That's all she do. All she do is talk straight. She just don't allow you to disrespect her. Thank you, 9X Leo King said we only family when they mess up or need something right. Thank you so much once again, MS Delta said bring the receipts. That's what y'all was on. I went, So I thought that was ridiculous. We've been trying for the longest, for the last 30, 40 years, to get through to black women. And y'all